This video is about why your team doesn't respect you as a leader. This is something that you might detect through your interactions with your team. It's usually expressed through their body language, their facial expressions, or maybe even verbally. You might see it show up by people not doing what you ask when you delegate to them, people rolling their eyes when you ask them to do something, or you may hear gossip throughout the office about you and your leadership ability. Whatever sign you see, however you detect that your team don't respect you, it's something that you need to address. As a leader, you can't keep going on with your team not respecting you. This will lead to a loss of trust in your team and outside your team too. It will stop you from achieving your goals because people aren't following your orders, they're not following what you ask them to do. It will also damage your leadership reputation because people will pick up on the fact that your team don't respect you. So in this video, we're going to look at why your team don't respect you and what you can do about it. So the first reason is you don't stick to your word or you lie. So an example of this might be you tell your team that you are available at any time for them to come and talk to you about problems they're having, but every time someone from your team approaches you, knocks on your door and starts discussing a problem, you send them away and you don't reschedule another time to talk. Or you might schedule a meeting with people on your team, but you keep rescheduling again and again and again, and eventually they get tired of having to constantly change their schedule for the meetings that you can't commit to. When this happens over and over again, your team will start to lose trust in you. They'll start to see that you're someone who doesn't stick to their word, perhaps that you lie, but definitely it makes you look dishonest and disorganized. And based on your actions or lack of actions, it's completely normal for your team to feel this way. It's really important that you are always honest with your team, that you're always upfront with them, that you don't lie to make yourself look good in front of other people. If you can't commit to an appointment or to a deadline, be honest about it, tell them, communicate that uncertainty. This is going to help you not mislead people and not give people the wrong impression about what is possible, what you are going to do, or what you can achieve. Honest communication is always the best form of communication, even if it's something the other person doesn't want to hear, or even if it's something that you're afraid to tell the other person because you're afraid it's going to make you look bad. If you like what you've learned so far in this video, there are two things you can do to help my channel. The first is to hit the like button below this video. That tells the algorithm that people like you like this video so it can be shown to more people like you on YouTube. The second thing you can do is to subscribe to my channel. Now every week I release videos on leadership to help you in your leadership journey, and I would be honored to share this content with you too. Now let's move on to the next reason as to why your team don't respect you. The second reason is you don't convey strength. People expect leaders to be strong, to be decisive, to be determined, to be focused on the goals that they want to achieve. This makes your team feel that they can trust you. When they trust you, they're more likely to follow you. But not all leaders convey strength, and this quite often happens when you are new to leadership. It's not something you intentionally do, but the lack of confidence in your leadership ability can quite easily come through in your communication and in your interactions with people. You might come off in a passive way, you might communicate passively instead of assertively. When you delegate, for example, this is an area it quite often shows up in. You might say to people, I don't mean to bother you, but would you be able to send me that report by email this afternoon? When in reality, you should say, Damien, I'd like you to send me that report this afternoon, please. Do you see the difference in communication style here? The first example I shared is very passive. The second example I shared is very assertive. When you communicate in a passive way, what it tells the listener, the person you're speaking to, is it communicates uncertainty. It communicates hesitancy. And when you communicate that hesitancy, the other person is going to detect you're not really confident in the direction you're going in. You're not sure about the direction you're going in. You're not sure about what you're asking them to do. Strength is something that your team need to see and need to feel from you. They need to feel and know that you are a strong leader, that you have their best interests in mind, that you're sure about the direction the team is going in, that you're sure about what they need to do so you can all achieve the goals that you have set. As I mentioned before, this strength, this certainty that you convey, it helps your team to trust you. It helps them to believe in you and therefore to follow you as well. Strength in leadership can be conveyed in a number of different ways through your communication style. By using assertive communication rather than passive communication, you automatically convey strength. Through the decisions you make, through being decisive instead of indecisive, this conveys strength as well. Through having tough conversations when you need to and not avoiding them, this tells your team you are prepared to tackle problems when they arise. This makes them feel that they have a strong leader who is leading the team. It makes them trust you, it makes them respect you as a leader. Number 3, you don't care. We've talked a lot in this video about being strong, about being assertive, about being confident as well. But on top of all of that, it's really important that as a leader, you show you care. You show that you care about the people in your team, the project you're working on, the goals you're all working towards. Showing that you care about people, about things, it shows that you have a heart, and people respond really positively to this. I mean, who wants to work for a leader who has no heart, a leader who has no empathy, a leader who does not care about the people in their team or the projects they're working on? This doesn't lead to a positive work environment. It doesn't create an atmosphere that encourages your team to follow you or to respect you or to even want to help you achieve your goals. If you have this attitude, your team will soon start to think, well, if you don't care about the people you work with or the project you're working on, why should they? Why should they care about the work that they do? They'll put in a mediocre effort, which will lead to mediocre results for you as a leader. So you absolutely need to show that you care as a leader. This is one way you can gain more respect from your team. So show that you care about the people in your team, your employees in your team. And you can do this by having conversations with them, in-depth conversations, help them through struggles that they're facing, help them with problems that they are trying to overcome in the workplace, things that might be difficult for them. Showing empathy when they're going through those struggles, when they're going through those problems, is another way to show that you care as a leader, leading them to feel that they can respect you. You also need to show that you care about the project you're working on, and you can do this by being enthusiastic about the projects that you are working on, enthusiastic about the goals that you want to achieve, motivated, show that you are motivated to your team. This energy will transfer onto them. They will feed from this energy. They will pick up this energy, and as a result they will feel more motivated, more energetic, and more positive about the projects you're working on as well. This will all lead to your team having more respect for you. There are 2 more reasons I'm going to share with you in this video as to why your team don't respect you, but first I want to see if you have downloaded the Leadership Evaluation Toolkit. It's a free download available on my website for emerging leaders. It's particularly focused on building visibility. It's a 35-question self-assessment that you can do. You can access that from my website. I'll put the link on the screen below and also in the description underneath this video, but definitely check it out if you want to see how you can improve on your leadership journey. Number 4, you don't have tough conversations. Part of showing that you care as a leader is to have tough conversations when you need to. Now, you might think that this is counterintuitive. You might think, well, Cara, how does this even make sense? But when you have tough conversations, it shows your team first that you're not afraid to approach those conversations or to have those conversations when you need to. I briefly mentioned this earlier in the video, but it also shows your team that you care, because you care enough to go through the difficult process of having that conversation so you can come to some type of conclusion, so you can sort out a problem, so you can solve an issue and end up with a work environment or a positive work environment that is without any struggles. The tough conversation could be about a number of things. Maybe it's telling somebody that they are not going to get promoted. Maybe it's giving somebody negative feedback. Maybe it's helping to solve a team conflict. I know tough conversations aren't nice. I know they're not easy, but at the end of the day, it's part of your job as a leader. This is part of your job now. You're a leader, you have to have tough conversations from time to time. If you can't have tough conversations when you need to, your team will quickly learn that you can't handle problems when they arise, that you can't protect them from toxic co-workers, or that you can't give them the opportunities that they deserve. Through your lack of action in having tough conversations, they will learn that they can't trust you and they'll lose respect for you. So how do you overcome this? What should you do in order to tick the box for your team to have more respect for you and have those tough conversations? Well, you need to have those tough conversations when you need to. I know they're hard. I know they don't make you feel good. I know you're worried about offending or worried about hurting the other person. But at the end of the day, this is your job. You need to be able to have tough conversations when you need to. As hard as it might be, you need to switch from being a passive communicator to being an assertive communicator. Now, if you want tips on how to be more assertive when you communicate, I have a fantastic course, a 3-hour video course that you will definitely get a lot of help and advice in being assertive with. I will put the link to that video course in the description below if you want to check it out. Number 5, you don't make decisions. Leaders are responsible for making decisions. Easy decisions, difficult decisions, any kind of decision, leaders must be able to make decisions and to make clear-cut decisions when they need to. I mentioned before that your team are looking to you for direction. That is part of your job as a leader. They want to know you're a strong leader, you're a decisive person. You know exactly what direction you are going to lead them into. In order to do that, you need to be able to make decisions. It could be the next steps you need to take in a project. It could be a direction for the team. Whatever it is, your team need to feel that you have this under control and that they can believe in you and that they can follow you as well. Indecisiveness, just like lack of strength, we talked about that earlier in this video, indecisiveness will cause your team to feel that they can't trust you. If they feel they can't trust you, they won't follow you and they certainly won't have any respect for you. Think of somebody you've met or come across in your life who is indecisive, somebody who just can't make a decision. Maybe they ask permission from other people constantly before making the decision themselves. Maybe they ask other people what they think about the possible decision that they have made. Whatever the case or situation, however it comes across, it doesn't make that person look decisive, does it? It doesn't make them look strong, and it doesn't entice you to follow that person. This is something that you need to be really careful about in leadership because you, as you probably know, you need to convey strength, you need to convey confidence in every decision you make, in everything that you say to someone. So sounding indecisive at work as a leader is something you absolutely want to avoid. If you want tips on how to sound more decisive when you speak, then you need to watch this video right here next. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit the like button, the subscribe button as well, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.